Hello, I'm Cindy Arenberg Seltzer, President and CEO of the Children's Services Council of Broward County. Welcome to another edition of Future First, Focus on Broward's Children. Even as the overall economic picture may have improved over the last few years, millions of working families continue to struggle to make ends meet. Here in South Florida, where much of the economy is based on low-paying service sector jobs, thousands of families can barely meet their basic economic needs. For years, the CSC has led efforts to educate the Broward community on the leading national anti-poverty program known as the Earned Income Tax Credit, or EITC, which is available for people who work but earn low wages. Together with other dedicated community partners, the CSC has supported the expansion of volunteer income tax assistance sites, also known as VITA sites, where EITC recipients have their returns professionally filed at no cost. In large part through these efforts, EITC returns in Broward have increased by over $542 million into the pockets of Broward County residents since 2002. During tax season, VITA sites are operated by the Internal Revenue Service and other partners such as Hispanic Unity of Florida and the Community Access Center, and are staffed by IRS-trained volunteer preparers who've been recruited by Hands on Broward and reflect the broad diversity of our community. Joining me today to talk about the importance and the real economic impact of these public awareness efforts are Maritza Michaud, IRS Territory Manager, Ingrid Ekblad, Senior Program Manager at Hispanic Unity of Florida, Magaly Prezeau, President and CEO of the Community Access Center, and Kathy Wint, Director of Economic Development at Hands on Broward. Welcome, ladies. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for your commitment to Broward's working poor. So I want to start with you, Maritza, because the IRS's commitment to this program is so important and obviously doesn't work unless the IRS is involved. So please, can you talk about why this is in the tax code in the first place and the IRS's role in the Earned Income Tax Credit and VITA sites?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting us, and thank you for being here with all these wonderful community leaders. The VITA program is an excellent program that has been around for many, many years and established by the IRS to help the low income, the elderly, and the non-English community. The individual that cannot go out and get a tax return prepared or pay for a tax return makes low wages. Here's an opportunity to have their tax return prepared correctly. The other side of that, of course, is the Earned Income Tax Credit. That is a federal established credit that has been around for many, many years. And again, it's a credit that if you make less than $57,000 a year, you can get up to $6,000. That makes a big difference in a family, doesn't make that much money. And of course, we can go a little bit later into more of the things about the credit, but the beauty of that is that it's something that is available and that the tax payers many times don't know anything about it. The only way of getting the credit is by filing a tax return. So here we are, it's how, we all come in, and the partnership, the IRS partners with all of the ladies here and all the organizations that they represent to inform the taxpayers about this credit. So it's really very important, and about the VITA program itself.
Yeah, it was amazing to me when CSC was first created and Sandra Bernard-Bastian, who's now a Chief Communication Officer, talked about the Earned Income Tax Credit and the fact that at that time they estimated that there was $99 million being left on the table in DC, and now we've seen an additional $542 million brought into the community. With a small investment, CSC's put about $200,000 a year in and gets back millions, obviously not to us, but into the community.
Yes.
And Kathy, Hands on Broward has been a vital partner in this, first in helping to get the word out, and then recruiting those volunteers so that they can do those income tax preparations. Talk about why and what you all do.
So I'm excited to be here. I work for Hands on Broward, and we're a not-for-profit, and we recruit volunteers for a number of different programs. The program, of course, that we're talking about is VITA, and I always say that VITA is a different program than just the one in a day, done in a day volunteer opportunity. VITA takes a huge commitment. It starts from September through the end of the tax season, which is April. So it's a 7-month commitment. So I always tell my volunteers, it is not for everyone. So what we're currently in the throes of recruiting for the program. And we have orientations. It's a number of steps, and Ingrid can tell you, we sit in meetings for months at a time to really plan the season. It's a number of steps. We have orientations, and they're mandatory orientations. You have to attend them to participate in the program. And then we have trainings, and then you have to become certified. And then, of course, the crux of it all is actually volunteering at the sites. And what we do is we say you have to actually give back 40 hours of your time during tax season to a site of your choice. And without volunteers, this program does not exist. Volunteers are the heart of this program. If we do not have volunteers, we don't have a VITA program. So we're in a really precarious position. We make sure that we have all the sites fully staffed during the tax season. So right now, we're probably at 60% capacity for recruitment, but by the time we get around to orientation, we'll have a waiting list.
Yeah. So are you recruiting year-round for this?
We don't. We start late July until the end of September. And then when we're done with recruiting, that's when we have the orientations. And as I said, the orientations are mandatory. You must attend an orientation to actually participate in the program.
It is pretty onerous, and so it is important that the volunteers really think about what they want to do. But you're also teaching them a skill that can be really useful, right?
Yes, it is. As I said before, it is a special program. It is not a program for just the regular volunteer, because it does take a lot of commitment, and it takes up a lot of your time, not just with training, but also with volunteering at the sites.
Have you all seen, Ingrid, Magaly, you then use those volunteers, as does the IRS, at the VITA sites. Have any of those people gone on to maybe make careers out of doing this work?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we've had 2 of the volunteers that worked with Hispanic Unity go on to become staff members and then actually work for the IRS. So that's been a long-term partnership on another category, if you will. So many of them actually have been hired by paid preparers as well as they've gone off, and many of the college kids that work with us as well have utilized this as a tool. It's a fantastic thing to put on your resume to be a VITA volunteer, and so they've utilized that to help them with their work experience to get other jobs.
So for those who are thinking about it, it's a little daunting, but
Yes.
it also can be a nice stepping stone
Absolutely.
for a future career.
Absolutely, because it counts as experience when you apply for the IRS. That's one of the things we looked at. The individuals have already had experience looking at tax returns and preparing tax returns. So for sure, that is going to give them a little bit of a head start.
Yeah, I think it's also important because of the fact that, like as Kathy mentioned, it is a special type of volunteer opportunity. There is 50 hours of training that happen on an annual basis, but at the same time, it really prepares them not only to be at the VITA sites, but actually to understand the diverse population that we serve. So having a diverse volunteer corps really reflects the people that come to the VITA site. So I think it's just really a win-win.
Talk about that a little bit, the diversity of the people that you're serving.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we do during the course of the training program is we bring in special pieces, not just for tax law and tax wise, which of course are the essential components of the VITA program, but we bring in cultural competency, sensitivity training, and now we're going to be soon putting in customer service. Why? Because we realize that we have such a diverse community in Broward County, and we really want our volunteers to be well-rounded and be able to serve them properly.
And Community Access Center targets especially the Haitian community in Broward County because they have limited English proficiency. A lot of times there are programs in Spanish, but for the Creole-speaking population in Broward County, it has been a challenge. So it's great to have not only the skill-building opportunity, but also to be able to provide customer service in Creole to the Haitian community so that we're able to build that trust in the community too, so they keep coming to us year after year.
And I always say that the VITA program is not only a service that we provide, of course, preparing their tax returns, but it's an education. A lot of the taxpayers we serve are newcomers. So we're educating them on our tax system, important filing a tax return. A lot of these individuals didn't have to file a tax return in their country. So they didn't have a rigorous tax system as we do in the United States. So we're keeping them out of trouble, and we're saying, hey, you're in this country, this is the new rules, and this is what it is. So it's really an education for them too.
Yeah. We have taxpayers. We actually have volunteers who, they actually come back after having their taxes prepared. So they come back after they realize this is such a beneficial service for them. They come back and they volunteer with us.
Wow, I love that. The circle of
Yes.
Yes.
life,
Giving
if
back.
you will.
Yes.
Giving back. Hispanic Unity has been our partner of CSC since we started this years ago.
13 years ago.
13 years. But Ingrid, that partnership has changed a little bit this year. Talk a little bit about that overall picture,
Yes.
because it's not just VITA either,
Yeah.
and not just the earned income tax credit.
Yeah. This year was a really special year for Hispanic Unity and working with our new partner at Community Access. CSC has always been the leader in terms of educating the community, in terms of what Maritza was just mentioning, educating the community on EITC and VITA. And so what we're doing now this year is kind of joining forces and really putting forth a really robust marketing campaign to make sure that we spread awareness about earned income tax credit as well as the VITA sites during the course of the tax season. So it's been a really good learning opportunity for us as community-based organizations, but I think for us it's really helped us to understand how important that educational component is, back to Maritza's point, as well as making sure that people understand the accessibility of the program during tax season.
And these all are working people. This is not a free service to
Correct.
anybody who,
Right.
I mean, it is to someone who walks in off the street, but they have to be people who are working,
Yes.
who have earned money and owe taxes.
And limited income too. It's not over $57,000.
Right.
So it's not just anybody that's making $100,000 that can come in for a free service. And in the community, we found some people who haven't even filed for years, thinking that they can't file anymore, or maybe they'll owe now. And in our organization, we found people that received $3,000 on back taxes because they never filed and didn't know how to get that done. And when they found out about the VITA program,
Yeah.
they were very happy and satisfied with what they got out of it.
That look back is something that's really important. Do you want to explain that, Maritza, that if they haven't filed, at least for their earned income tax credit, I know they can look back a couple of years and get refunds that they were due.
Absolutely. If the, as I explained before, in order to get the earned income tax credit, they need to file a tax return, even if they don't owe taxes. So we have taxpayers who say, well, I didn't make that much money last year, I didn't file a tax return. But again, you're specific, you're a perfect candidate for the earned income tax credit. The only way you can get that credit is by filing a tax return. So that's important, the importance of all of this. So again, even if you didn't make, the taxpayer that are listening to us right now, even if you didn't make enough money to file a tax return, do it because of the earned income tax credit.
And the possible look back, you can wind up
3
with
years.
quite
Or 3
a
years.
big,
You can go back 3 years.
so you could wind up with a check for $10,000, $12,000,
We've had many,
right?
many taxpayers come in and walk out with $9,000, $10,000. Unknown to them that they
Right.
had this money waiting for them.
For them.
Yeah.
And then I think the beauty of the partnership here is that then you help them with what to do with that.
Exactly.